What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Cowboys Culture Podcast, where we are correcting the narrative one episode at a time. But first, we got to pay the bills.
Yes, sir. So we want to give a big shout out to 360 Roofing and Restoration. They made sure we got to the preseason game this weekend. The culture was in the house. We were in the Death Star. Thanks to 360. 360 can handle all of your commercial and residential roofing needs around the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and surrounding cities. Man, give them a shout. Give Coy and them a shout. They're going to hook you up. They're the best price in town. They're insurance experts. They can handle that those difficult-to-handle insurance claims that come with roofing in North Texas. So thanks a lot, guys. Roofing. Yeah. So the culture, of course, we were in the Death Star Saturday.
The culture was in the Death Star.
We was there. And we noticed some things there. I'll say this for sure. I noticed the atmosphere, man. I've been to some preseason games before, hanging out with about 15,000 of my closest friends. You can tell there's a buzz around this team this year.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, not that there hasn't been before, but you can really feel it this year. I think Jerry boasted 81,000 guests this week. So
yeah, I mean that's pretty crazy. I think that it didn't feel like. I mean, regular season games are like it's pretty much full, yeah. But at the AT&T Stadium, when you looked around, it didn't seem like there was a lot of empty seats. Like it was pretty full for a preseason game, and it was loud. Like when Dak got his hat off, and showed off the hairline and was going like this, and trying to get everybody hyped. It was loud. I mean, I was cheering. Everybody was cheering.
Yeah, I definitely noticed an increase.
And then they saw the culture was there, and then
that's when it got crazy.
Excited. That's probably why there was such a big uptick this year compared to last year.
They knew the Cowboys Culture Podcast.
They knew CCP was in the house. So.
Yeah, but people were excited. I mean, it was packed. I remember there were some Jags fans behind us, and I remember they were like, "Man, there was a lot of people here."
Yeah,
like they were pretty shocked at how many people were there. So it was a good turnout. It was a good time. There's a lot of takeaways we got today. So, but first, do you guys want to get into some recent news? I know there's been some things that have happened.
What's happening around Dallas Cowboy world? Here, there's Zach Martin. Zach Martin news today. Of course, is Monday the 14th. So what's up with him? Twitter's going crazy.
Yeah, I posted. If you follow Cowboys Culture Podcast on Instagram, which you should if you haven't. I post quite a bit on the stories and on the pages and stuff, and if you want to DM us, you can always do that. But I posted that Zach Martin has signed a contract with the Cowboys, new contract with the Cowboys.
Yep.
So that's apparently it was a 18 per year,
so
18 million,
2 year,
18 million.
Fully guaranteed.
Fully guaranteed.
I think he was set to make 13.5 and 14. So, obviously that gives him about
$8 million extra, something like that.
About that. So he's not, not quite
fully guaranteed.
Fully guaranteed. Not quite what we could be paying him, but he definitely, got that extra $8 million.
Took a Diggs deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. Man, not just the fans are excited, man. Zach Martin wants to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in the post that he put up back to work and a lot of stuff and just. I mean, you can tell that it wasn't like a personal thing. It was completely just business.
Yeah,
Some people, it's kind of personal, but for him, he just wants to get back out there for the Dallas Cowboys.
If it was
money right.
Yeah, I'm glad we paid him. He deserved it. If it was anybody else, I would have been like, man, don't set that kind of precedent here. But it was Zach Martin. And
like you're saying, don't set that kind of precedence. Like say if Ezekiel Elliott did it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I just don't
he
like
knows the culture.
I just don't like the message that it sends to the team. I like what Diggs did. Take a team-friendly deal, and then, later down the line, or like a Patrick Mahomes. Take your deal, even though Patrick Mahomes could be – the Eagles paid a running back, $52-53 million this offseason?
Shout out Eagles.
So Mahomes could demand more money, but he's staying true to his contract at least for now. I mean, he could turn right back around and do it.
Yeah, I think Mahomes is a little different story. The not to dig too deep in these contract things because
Yeah.
that's boring talk, but Mahomes' thing is like he knows that market's going to reset because it resets every single year. So why hold out now when I'm literally 18 months away from being the highest paid player in the NFL, as to where Zach Martin's market just reset, and he's like, okay, 8 dudes are making more money than me. I'm Zach Martin. They're not. What gives?
Yeah.
Let's talk Jerry.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
No, team
Like,
friendly
I'm
at
happy.
the same time.
Yeah, I'm happy. I was advocating for him to get paid.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just don't like the overall vibe. But overall,
I'm with you on
good
that.
move. Good move.
Yeah.
It's
very
not
good
too
move.
bad for the team. $8 million over 2 years.
Yeah.
Not too terrible.
Yeah. Cap stays pretty right in preparation for what's going to be a CD thing. It's going to turn into what are we going to do with Zach?
Micah.
Dak next. Micah. So thank you, Zach Martin, for returning to work.
Yeah, there we go. Which I don't. I get. I mean, I guess I understand the whole training camp thing, but it's like we had a home game. Why not just stay here and practice in the Star? I mean, they flew back out to Oxnard.
So I think
I don't know.
I
And
think
then
with
Seattle next, right?
Yeah, and then you got to go to Seattle. Like, just stay here and then fly to Seattle.
yeah.
I guess they can just go from Oxnard or
They-
LA to Seattle. But
They like the weather. Feels
anyway,
good.
yeah. Also, I don't know if we already talked about it, but Zeke got signed to the Patriots
Zeke
today.
got signed again. Today is Monday the 14th. Zeke signed to the Pat Riot today.
Yeah, which is going to be awesome to watch in Week 4 when we
Week
play them at
4,
home.
Patriots come to the Death Star.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Last year, because I remember me and Ethan were at the Bucks game, and last year, Zeke, out of all the players, was the only one that got booed.
Yeah, Zeke did
And
get booed.
everybody else got applause. Zeke got booed. I'm going to be interested to see what they do.
Now that he's gone, they're probably going to give him
Yeah.
a standing
Fans do.
ovation.
It's certainly going to be a happy emotional thing for him, for our fans. I really think that's going to be a welcome home type thing.
I
hope
think
so.
I'm just still surprised that he's not,
Yeah.
there. Like that to see him in a Patriots uniform is just so odd.
Yeah, I mean, definitely was maybe a year past needing to move on.
Yeah.
And then he just finally proved that it was time for us to move on last year. So, man, I'm happy for Zeke. I'm happy he's back in the league. The Patriots can use him. I don't know if you guys saw any of their action from over the weekend.
Don't they have who? Ramondre Stevenson?
Yeah, he's there.
He's kind
Zeke is going
of
to do.
he could be their number one, to be honest.
He could be, but I think he's there to be the bailout back, right? To be the 3rd and 2 guy, which is what he's
He's
still
really good
very
at it, yeah.
capable of. Yeah. So
And that's not a knock on it. I feel like everybody used that as a knock on him. That's not a knock. I mean, some running backs literally cannot do that.
I would say, there's times where I get nervous when Tony Pollard lines up in the I formation to go get 1 yard. It's
justifiable.
a strange thing, but it's like, what are you talking about? This guy breaks off 15-yard runs all
It's
the
a
time.
shift in momentum.
It is a shift in momentum. Yeah. But
Shout out episode 1.
shout out to episode 1. Go back and check it out. Yeah. What do you say we take a look at this past weekend?
Yeah, so, because we know what we're all here for is to talk about what we just saw in game 1. So that's what we want to start off with is just, we want to look at what we saw out of some of the players, starting with, who we thought stood out in a positive way. So that's what I want to know from you guys.
Who leveled up?
Yeah, who leveled up? When you watched that game, who stood out to you and was like, man, that was good to see, from this guy. So, yeah, what do you guys think?
Can I bring up the obvious, and I'll let
Go
you guys
for it.
hash it out?
Yeah.
Deuce Vaughn. Let's discuss.
Yeah, I think Deuce Vaughn came out and just played like a back that has done that at the elite level in college, and he didn't skip a beat coming in. Like when he took off, it looked like a good running back taking off. It wasn't like when you saw, I think Rico Dowdle had one really explosive play, I think, before he fumbled the ball at the goal line. But it just doesn't look as explosive as, I mean, Deuce was, I mean, he made people straight up run into each other. Like when you say the back looked silly out there, they looked silly. I think I saw a tweet from Emmanuel Acho that he was like, he literally made the safety miss so bad. Like, and it was like he ran up and just juked him clean out of his cleats and ran straight into like a linebacker or something.
Yeah,
so,
seeing him hit that spin move and just make somebody look absolutely stupid was awesome.
Like Pollard, it seemed like every time he touched the ball, he was going to take off.
Jake, what do you think about Deuce?
Yeah, I mean, for me, because if you guys have watched the past couple episodes, being a former Baylor guy, I watched a lot of the Big 12. I got to see him just torching defenses every year. I wanted to see how is that going to translate over to the NFL, and it's definitely it's hard to see in the practice situation when with the team and
stop and go.
You're not really hitting and you're not breaking tackles and all that kind of stuff. But man, I mean I don't know how much better of a with the conditions he was in, the O-line and all that, which we'll talk about. Man, I mean it's like I definitely think the skill set translated over when as far as what I saw, and just the biggest thing that I liked from him was just not being nervous, making the most of opportunities, even tough catches, making those plays. Like, man, I was excited to see that.
I think that Steven said it best earlier today. He was making plays and made that catch even though Will Greer showed up drunk. So.
Shout out Will
yeah,
Greer, man. My boy,
hey.
I don't know what he was doing out there, man. I know he's got a solid beard. He's got some sweet tat sleeves. He's got that going for him.
His brother is Nash Greer, who's a famous viner or something, who got famous for being, I guess, attractive or something to some people. Yeah. I don't know.
Are the rumors true about Will Greer pregame?
I don't know. I need to go back and look,
okay.
But yeah, I saw like a rumor that said that it was going to be a long night for the other team or something, and it just wasn't. So
I think, I mean, I not to get too deep into this, I don't drink alcohol, but if I did, I'd shotgun with Will Greer. But,
well, what about anybody else? So obviously we know about Deuce.
Yeah,
that's been the talk of.
Real quick with Deuce, I've seen enough. It was against third string defensive linemen and everything, but okay, Deuce Vaughn, you can play. You obviously have a role on this team. They actually have plans for you this year. I don't need to see him in Seattle. There's people out there that and be sure to comment, be sure to come at me on this. If you think we need to see tons more Deuce Vaughn, if you think we haven't seen enough Deuce Vaughn, let me know about it.
Yeah, I think we do though.
Fine, Ethan Moya first up.
Yeah,
but just real quick for me, just finishing off Deuce. He is 5'5". I think unnecessary hits from this point. I've seen enough. I know the guy can play, and whatever role is assigned to him this year, I think he can fulfill that. So let's keep the tread off the tires. You're welcome to debate me off of here anytime.
Yeah.
So another guy that I think I want to hear from both of you on is Tolbert.
Yeah. No, I mean, for me, for Tolbert, I was glad to see, last year we knew he had the ability physically, but last year it was just like, I don't know if it was he was having a hard time understanding the concepts or if he was just nervous, but it was like, man, he was just something was wrong in his mindset or something. But this year, man, he has like a completely different energy, and I mean that's combining now with his physical ability. And man, I kind of put him in the same category as like Deuce. Like I saw what I needed to see. He seems like he's got his mind right and we already knew he had the ability and he's making plays. I could go ahead and pencil him in.
Yeah, I mean, two for 29.
Two for 29. So two catches on both targets.
Yep, both of them.
And 29 yards and a tutty at towards the end of the game. So I just think you just move right on from that, right? I mean, Okay, Jalen Tolbert.
Yeah, wide receiver 4.
Yeah, you can play. We'll see you behind Gallup. We'll see you plenty this year. I'm good with him. I don't think he can prove anything else.
Who, me? I don't know if y'all saw
Right,
that.
yeah, who me, yep.
Another guy, unless you guys have anything else on Tolbert?
No, I mean, Tolbert, again, just like Deuce, straight up showed out.
Yeah.
We're good with you,
Which he was one of them that I was just hoping, because now I'm confident that, like, let's say we're playing a really good defense, which I doubt they can, already take down our trio. But anyway, if they do happen to be playing really well against our trio, we're confident that people can come in and, take down a 4th string wide or cornerback or something like that.
For sure.
Yeah, I was just, because there was a lot of talk with him about during camp and in practices and everything, and it was good to see it, like, because there was a lot of talk about him at camp last year. People were talking about how Tolbert was showing out in drills and in the
you
during
can tell
practice.
you can tell he was just nervous.
But yeah, when he got to the game, he struggled something, whether it was nerves or whatever. This year, it started in practice and it stayed in the game, and so that was my big thing with Tolbert. But another guy, who also was kind of like, I saw what I needed to, was Ferg. I mean,
Jake Ferguson, yeah.
like I've been saying, and you guys might have stuff to add to this, but like I've been saying, every time that dude gets a pass, he makes the most of it. He makes a highlight. I mean, he's just a playmaker.
Yeah, he's when you like I said with Deuce, when you see him touch the ball, man, he makes a play that only stars make. Like starters that are actually really good at playing the game of football. Other people just make a play that honestly most people in the NFL could do, but like whenever you see like a freaking acrobatic play from your enormous tight end, you're like, okay, this guy's special.
Yeah, I mean, Travis Kelce, this is how you know you're good when you get respect from your peers, and especially for Ferg, in the form of Travis Kelce. At one
First year.
Yeah, he was asked, what tight ends coming up are you excited about? And I'm not sure when he was asked this, but I'm feeling like it was this offseason. And, basically just, who are you excited about? And he named awesome guys. And, Jake Ferguson down in Dallas was one of the guys he was excited about.
And that is a second string rookie, just like that's crazy. That's huge.
So, and Jake Ferguson, I'm kind of learning now, I kept saying, we're not worried about Dalton Schultz. Who cares about Dalton Schultz? We got another Dalton Schultz. We got 2 more Dalton Schultz. I'm starting to think Jake Ferguson's a little more than that.
Yeah, I've always felt like
he's
that.
definitely not the like catch and fall type guy. He's got that, and it's crazy because a big knock on him from a lot of people is his athleticism. He didn't test the greatest, but you can't tell when you watch the dude. I mean,
he looks super athletic.
He had a Jordan silhouette catch this weekend.
He just keeps surprising
me. He has
me.
Leaped over somebody on the biggest game, honestly, of the year on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I mean
that's huge.
Just moving on from Jake Ferguson, the podcast is we're a fan. I know you watch, so thank you for that. But, just moving on from him, again, we don't need to see him anymore.
Right.
Thanks for your couple of catches there. Who's next?
I mean, I think the next is really like
Moan.
Let's talk about the linebackers. We had some. There's a lot we could talk about that for a long time, but man, we noticed. I think it was within the first couple plays.
Yeah, the first drive.
It was like, man, we have found something in this Clark Overshown duo.
As great as Van Der Esch is and how beneficial it is to have him out there, I think you can put Overshown and Clark out there and be absolutely fine.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree with that more. So I'm totally cool with if Quinn wants to sort of, pull. You guys ever seen Van Der Esch jump a line? You ever seen him jump over a line?
Yeah.
He's a bad man. All right.
Yeah.
So if Quinn's like, hey, I want to hold this guy back for maybe some rush packages and stuff, rather than having him, make tackle after tackle after tackle, or even having to go out and cover somebody, God forbid.
Yeah.
I'm totally cool with that. I'm totally cool if like Van Der Esch has this like we're gonna save him for these superstar packages. And then you've got Damone and you've got Overshown out there, just running down, taking down running backs.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, level up.
Oh, for sure.
These boys leveled up.
Yeah.
Both of them put on a little performance for us.
I want
them to keep hitting people.
Yeah.
I'm not tired of seeing them yet. Your big time linebacker ain't going to get a snap this preseason.
Yeah.
Maybe he will this week. I don't know. A handful of snaps, but I want to keep seeing them. I want to keep seeing them running down these backs.
Yeah, like Clark. We saw a lot of him last season, and he was kind of still recovering from what was a major injury, to be honest. And now you could really see a lot of his athleticism mixed in with his knowledge of the game. Mm-hmm. But I feel like there was so much critique, and the person that I was blown away by was Overshown, because they're like, oh, he doesn't have the best focus or vision, and he's kind of small. But then you see him. He's got he's got the green dot on his helmet now to call plays, which is huge as a rookie. He did the freaking pregame hype up huddle thing. He led that. Wow. Dak was standing right in front of him, and he's leading that as a rookie, 3rd round draft pick. And then the perfect scenario happened for him, and I heard this. I think it was on 105.3 where they were talking about this, and they said, what you want that he's kind of a slender guy, has that J-Ron build, and they were saying how can he stop somebody on a must-stop 3rd down? And the perfect scenario happened. Running back comes in on 3rd and 2, and he just boom! Smacked right into him, stopped him right there on the line of scrimmage. Perfect hole, to just ram right into each other and stopped him. And that's exactly what you want to see out of your linebackers. Yeah, especially that was perfect.
No doubt. They were both all over the ball when they were out there. Okay, so DeMarvion had 6 total tackles, so he was all over the ball. 2 of them solo. Damone had 5 total tackles and 4 solo tackles for the sample size we got of both of them. So, man, they were around the ball the whole time. Anytime the ball stayed on the ground, they were there.
Yeah. No, I think if anything, what it shows us is that we successfully have solved the problem of last year, which was when Van Der Esch goes down, when he went down last year, it was a totally different defense almost. We were getting torched. Mm-hmm. Van Der Esch was kind of like the glue that held a lot of things together. But I think now, obviously, I'm still really high on Van Der Esch. I think Van Der Esch showed us a lot last year, but I just think at the very least, he's got some guys there's some competition, and guys that if we do have some injury problems, it's not over. We have some depth there, so I was definitely glad to see that out of those dudes for sure.
Yeah, LVE is, let's call it what it is. We all understand how the NFL works and everything. So LVE is probably in the twilight of his prime, right? So it's really comfortable to know that these guys are behind him. But Van Der Esch still, just like you just said, still very, very useful, very much.
Yeah.
Which, I want to give him those props because I know LVE, I know you watched the Cowboys Culture podcast.
They all do.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
They all
but
do.
So we're not down on you yet. We're just saying you're in the twilight of your prime, which means you're still in your prime.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we didn't really have this listed, and I'll be really quick because it's the only thing I'll say about him. But Mozzie, man, there's so much you can't see, as far as explosives plays go and all that kind of stuff with an interior D lineman, but everything that we hoped and wanted to see, he showed us. There was at one point where people are freaking out about the triple team that he picked up. If you see him being triple teamed, he's definitely being double teamed, and that is exactly what we need for Micah Parsons to just throw some tackle to the ground and sack your quarterback.
Exactly. Please give rookie Mozzie Smith a triple team respect, because you just opened up a world of chaos for your quarterback.
Yeah, Micah Parsons threw the scariest left tackle into the floor.
Yeah, at the beginning of the game, it was their starters, it was their ones, and Mozzie was still creating some problems. The last guy really that I had when it comes to level up, the guys that leveled up, I really don't think you can be the leader in receptions and receiving yards and not level up. And that's John Stevens Jr. I mean, there was a lot of talk about him at camp, and did it translate over into the game? I was excited for him, and just excited to see a guy like that as a in the tight end room. We might talk about it later, but I think it could make things interesting at for that tight end battle.
No, definitely a level up for him. 5 receptions, 56 yards, and he scored. So yeah, I mean, big time level up. I want to keep seeing it. I want to see it throughout the preseason for me.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we already have kind of a lot of depth at tight end, and if he's going to be somebody who's going to show out and can be a weapon, if it's like, because I've heard that he's like that hybrid kind of receiver tight end type thing. Yeah. So I mean, if it adds a different dimension, that's what I feel like a lot of really good offensive coordinators do, is like they have a lot of very multi-dimensional players on their team. I think we have that in Pollard. I think we have that in Deuce. I think we have that in this guy and Ferguson, and so yeah, I feel like that he could play a bigger role, but I think obviously we need to see more from him in the preseason. But just to finish off the level up part, Wanye Thomas, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he may have, he may not really be that great, but he picked off the Trevor Lawrence.
Anytime you pick off a quarterback that's apparently better than Dak, you gotta get
I mean, if you're this guy's better than Dak according to literally every poll you're going to watch or see, and then a guy that was on the Dallas Cowboy practice squad last year needed Trevor Lawrence to throw the ball 2 times before he had him picked off. So and then he almost did it again. And then he played lights out for the rest of the game. Trevor Lawrence was like, I'm not going back to this guy.
Yeah, and that was on their apparently comeback, almost one of the comeback players of the season, last season on, what's the tight end's name? Evan Ingram. Mm. Yeah, so apparently he was really good last season, and Wanye Thomas picked you off. So
speaking of, before, this is the Cowboys Culture Podcast. We talk Dallas Cowboys around here, but I do want to, while we're talking about comeback players of the season and everything, shout out Damar Hamlin, man. He's back. He had 3 tackles in Buffalo's first preseason game. What a story. So just, no need to dwell on that, but just that's worth saying.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's probably a shoo-in for comeback player of the season.
Hard not to give it to
if he doesn't get hurt, regular injury.
Yeah,
I think he's got a real shot at that. But
do you guys have anybody else level up?
No, man.
Man, those are all level ups.
Then I guess we got to go to level down.
Who you disappointed in, Jacob?
Yeah, who disappointed us? I mean, I'll start off by saying I'm not going to single anybody out, but that O-line was rough.
Oh boy! I can single out.
Now
I can single out one ball in particular.
But okay.
Which Josh Ball are you referring to?
To be fair, we do know that they had a lot of the Jags had a lot of their ones.
Thank you so much, Zach Martin. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming back.
Golly.
We know that the Jags had a lot of their ones out there at the beginning, but man, it was rough. I think Cooper Rush could not do anything. The run game couldn't get going. I definitely made us miss Zach Martin. To me, it showed that
he was on the floor like every other.
Not that Zach Martin would be out there playing, but it's so clear that if this year is going to go the way that we all think it is and the way that Stephen A. Smith says it's not, then those fronts have to be healthy week in and week out. Yeah. Shout out Tyron.
And just to say, kind of off topic of the level down, I think we need to go get somebody, honestly, veteran help for that O-line, just in case Tyron just can't keep it together for just one full season, or somebody goes down, because the depth, after our starters are incredibly good. Like everybody is pretty much Pro Bowl level.
Yeah.
But after that, it's like they may not be in the NFL next season.
Yeah, I mean, and that's my biggest fear is like the Cowboys are gonna sit around and wait for one of these dudes to get hurt, and then they're gonna go get, kind of who's sitting on the couch, really, not somebody
Jason
in the
Peters.
league. Yeah, I mean, a little bit different. I mean, you're gonna run out and go get a Hall of Famer. That was we lucked out there, but that's not happening now because Jason Peters was 40 last year. I think he's 111 this year. So,
Yeah, the 111th birthday. Yeah.
yeah. So, I'm worried. I'm with you 100%, Ethan. I think we need to go get somebody. I think we need to get somebody before the year starts. But I
Or
don't.
trade for somebody who's like a mediocre starter in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean that just somebody that's say 5 times better than Josh Ball. Which isn't asking a lot.
Just better, just okay at playing guard or tackle.
But yeah, Jacob, I couldn't agree more. I mean, like you just bundle them all in a big Josh Ball, and it was bad. It was bad stuff.
Apparently,
Poor guy,
Hoffman, I think it was, played okay.
Yeah, everybody
there
was up
there
on
were
him.
moments.
Yeah,
There were moments, but it was just not what you need to see.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I know that O-linemen, like O-line depth, is not exactly something that a lot of teams have. But man, I just think it showed that we're pretty top heavy, and I would be surprised if we didn't pull like a Jason Peters type situation last
we
season.
need to.
Or we hire somebody who's just, man, you're older, but we know you can add some experience and some proven ability.
Yeah.
But yeah, so overall, I would say the biggest level down for me was definitely the O-line. But I mean, did you guys have anybody else that stood out?
As far as level down, man, I mean, just Will Greer did Will Greer things.
Yeah, third string quarterback in the NFL.
Dude looks like he looks my age, man. I mean, he looks old. I'm old, so that dude looks rough. He did kind of put some plays together there in the fourth quarter that fine. He did. Deuce bailed him out of a throw. Deuce grew 4.5 inches for him. Tolbert, the play to Tolbert in the end zone was pretty good. So whatever, I guess he's gonna make the team.
It's just right when you started to get excited about it. It's like it's a pick, and it's just like, man.
But a lot of that does play into that, which also is a testament to Deuce, because that O-line was so bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
It's
Deuce
true.
is out here freaking, finding holes and, just going ham. But anyway, I had Jalen Brooks, man. Jalen Brooks, and to stay on the receiver, portion. I mean, Turpin in the actual receiving aspect was okay, but he needs to kind of be humbled a little bit. Was he a Pro Bowler last season? Yeah, but as a punt returner, and you saw that fumble. I feel like he just gets too much into his head, and then he makes mistakes. If he doesn't do that, he's a very explosive player. But back to Jalen Brooks, I mean, I was just so excited to watch him go ham. And I think I got his stats pulled up right here. But, I mean, he was 5 targets, and he caught one reception for 3 yards at 5 targets.
Yeah,
I mean, that
everybody-
is just terrible.
Everybody was really up on him, including this podcast.
Yeah.
Was really up on him coming out of camp. And yeah, man, he just didn't put it together. I mean, obviously, a really bad quarterback, at least bad on the day. I know you watch the podcast, so don't take it personal. It's just a rough afternoon. But Jalen Brooks, everybody's very up on him, and he just kind of didn't materialize Saturday. On Turpin, couldn't agree more, man. Like, bro, you're doing too much. All right, he's getting the ball punched out from behind. Because he has it in his mind, he's taking it back every time. Turpin was brought to Dallas to return. Do that exceptionally well. They do want to work him in as a receiver. They made that obvious Saturday. They want to see him catching balls. I'm kind of now thinking after his performance, where he did end up having some catches, he ended up having 2 catches. I know he had a drop. It could have been a much better afternoon for Terp. and he's a fan favorite, of course, because he brings those electric returns. So I would like to see him reel it in some. I'd like to see him focus on making sure he's getting into enemy territory on the returns.
Yeah. What
And
about you,
hold on to
Jay?
football.
Yeah, I mean, I think for him, it seems like it's just in his head. We know he has the physical ability. He just sometimes, I don't know if he gets nervous or if he's trying, he wants to make a play so bad that sometimes he forgets to catch the ball or he forgets to hold on to the ball when you kind of break through. I think that, I'm glad things like this are happening now, if they're going to happen, because, to make sure, so that he makes sure to keep those things, to focus on those things. But yeah, I think that he's got to figure out what's going on with his mindset or whatever. And if he can, I think it can be a really good thing for him. But yeah, I think, you got to put him as a level down when you have an explosive play that turns into a turnover like that. I think you got to.
Yeah, watching the two backs that played the majority of the game. Hot take: don't be super shocked if Turpin is not with Dallas week 1. He has an amazing ability. I mean, okay, you cut a Pro Bowler, he's a Pro Bowl returner. You know what I mean?
I just don't think that, like what we talked about with Deuce, I don't think you just say, oh, Deuce is our punt returner now or a kick returner. I think that's the only reason you keep Terp. Now, if somebody comes along and says, hey, we'll trade you or something for him, that's fine. But I don't think with the talent that we've already seen from Deuce, I don't think you just stick him there at kick and punt return. I think that's just a waste. Now, they might. But, I mean, with what we've seen from our running backs, I think Deuce is just too valuable. Like, which brings me to the next person that we were talking about on our level down, which is Malik Davis, man. I mean, playing in a preseason game as a person who's had, multiple NFL reps, in preseason, regular season, and I think maybe even some postseason. But I'm not sure about that. But, I mean, he was 4 carries for 3 yards.
Yeah, I mean, again, you go back to
that's bad.
Yeah, you go back to the offensive line he had to work with, and you also keep the perspective. It's the preseason. Malik Davis, I think, going into this game, in every coach's mind that coaches offense for Dallas, has him at RB2 right now. So, a couple of things play into what we saw from Malik Davis is, 1, very small sample size, 2, bad offensive line, and the coaching staff probably said, hey, Malik, we're running at about 80% today, okay?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I hope that's what it was.
But I mean, and I think you look at a 5th-round draft pick and you say, turn it up to 102, brother, So
yeah, I mean, that's fair. I wish I would have seen more. I was excited about him from last year because, I mean, he did a lot of good things.
Yeah.
I just definitely think that, I mean, yeah, the O-line was rough, but I think he got outshined by both of the guys, by Dowdle and Deuce. So
for sure, yeah.
He's got to do something this next game.
We need to see more. Yeah, I mean, it was a big level down. You think you're going to see a pretty established NFL running back, and you just kind of didn't see that out of him with all the factors he had to work with there.
Yeah,
but,
I think we also need to acknowledge the fact that the Dallas Cowboys are still in the market for a kicker.
It's true.
So
we missed
extra
a
point. Yeah,
we missed a PAT, so it must be football season in Dallas. So it's
postseason already. Huh?
It was immediate people around me, those Jags fans behind me. Even after you guys left, y'all left a little early. Those Jags fans behind us was like, Dallas missing PATs out here.
Yeah.
So it's a fun little league joke, and the good news is Dak Prescott is the quarterback, and we have the likes of Brandon Cooks and CeeDee Lamb, and we're going to run the score up on you.
Yeah.
We won't need to kick.
Yeah, shout out Tom Brady. We're going to run the score up on you, and the kicking will just be for fun.
Yeah, I definitely think they're going to do something.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
They're not going to let that one slide. They didn't let what's as good as a season as Maher had. They didn't let that slide. I don't think they're going to let this slide.
Maher did it right though. He waited
till he already
got
got paid.
postseason to start doing heroin.
It seems like the kicker, like I guarantee you, the kicker kicks that, misses, and like he knows exactly where Jerry is in the suite, and he like looks over, and Jerry's like,
yeah. Jerry's like signaling, like, go put your clothes back on. Like,
yeah, you just see him. He's like,
yeah. John Bones, special team, John Bones Jones or whatever.
He tackles him. Like,
I mean, he's out of his mind anyway. That guy's a character on game day. But no, he was just like, you got to go. Get out of here, man. Yeah. So
he's probably not on that flight to Oxnard.
Yeah. So
he's like, sorry, coach. He's like, who are you?
Who are you?
You're not security.
You're not coming back to Oxnard. Yeah. So. Anyone else disappoint?
I mean, the last one I had Mukwamu. Didn't have the best game. I do think, he was covering. I mean, for a while he was covering Christian Kirk. I don't know if that's a good matchup for him, but
he's kind of a bigger guy.
Yeah, but he didn't have the best game. But I mean, he shows out a lot in practice. I think he'll be fine. He's just got to,
lock down Chris Godwin in the postseason.
Yeah.
With Brady. So I mean,
I
he's
think
worth something.
Fine, but I just didn't think it was his best.
Yeah,
showing.
and he's coming, like you said, he's coming off that injury.
Yeah, that's true.
He he missed a lot of camp because of that injury. But
he's another player I think that gets the coaching staff's respect of. We're running about 75 to 80% out here. Okay, let's not the hamstring even feels a little tight. Take something off of it. You can give up catches today. It's not the end of the world. But, yeah, I agree. You kind of look at these players, especially in the preseason, when you see a notable name, you're like, hey, show us something, and we kind of just didn't get that out of him. But overall, my overall take of Saturday, outside of just the fanfare, that was so incredible to see. We are the Dallas Cowboys. Don't get it twisted. We are the most famous sports organization in the United States of America. Shout out New York Yankees. But it was a preseason game. That's my take. It was a preseason game. We lost the game 28-23. Don't really care. Trevor Lawrence did not come out there and have a day. Kind of picked it up towards the end of his showing, but whatever. He got picked off two throws into the preseason by a practice squad player. So, but overall, excited about the two young backs. Deuce is, of course, the talk of Dallas, Texas right now, and it was a preseason game. That's my take.
Yeah, my take is kind of, I don't know, the same, I'd guess, but as far as individual players, you didn't see anybody who we were like, okay, we need this person to do, to show out for the team. Like none of our starters played except for maybe Damone Clark.
Jake Ferguson started.
Jake Ferguson, but he was incredible. It was to the point where our backups were doing insanely well. Like Deuce showed out and.
The skill position guys,
Tolbert showed out and all that kind of stuff. It's not like we had like a number. Well, I mean, even Mozzie showed out. It was doing what we wanted him and needed him to. But there was nobody who we were like, we needed him to be good. But look at just to be quick, look at the Texans.
Yeah.
We just we used a premium first round pick on a CJ Stroud, and the dude, 2 for 2, 2 for 2, and one of them was a pick six.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no,
or 3 for 4, something like that. I can't remember what it was.
I don't think anybody's expecting a ton out of Houston this year.
Same thing for Bryce Young. Just
just
one
buns,
of one, and he just straight up butt cheeks.
Yeah,
yeah. But I like Ethan's point. Like we're not relying or needing Will Greer to go out there and ball. Like
even
the
though
guys,
we did.
the guys that were struggling. Jalen Brooks, Will Greer,
Josh Ball, our kicker.
We're not really relying on those dudes. Now, I mean, definitely, I think the O-line left a little bit more to be desired. But
but again, they're not. None of those people are play for the Cowboys.
But outside of that, I think the guys that we were relying on and had heard a lot about at camp that were doing good. I think that translated over to the game. Those guys that we relied on were looked solid at worst. That they can be solid contributors, and I mean, one of the biggest takeaways I had was, man, like this defense must be legit because our second team defense was basically shutting out the Trevor Lawrence and the starters on the Jags. So I mean, overall, I think from my perspective, the positives by far outweighed the negatives. And so I'm excited to see what happens in Game 2.
Yeah, I mean, right before we start talking Game 2, and I couldn't agree with the points you guys just made, but like, I gotta give a shout out to Luke Schoonmaker. He's a rookie, right? So it's like, is he level down, level up? I really don't know what to say. He had a catch.
He just didn't show us enough.
Yeah, and again, I just go back to he's coming off an injury from Michigan last year.
Yeah.
I don't know that he was sent out there to, show us everything you got, kid.
Well, he didn't get much opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's by design. I think that's we're not running you out here to, hey, we want you to get your first few NFL snaps. We want you to get comfortable with the speed, and we want you to take a hit.
Yeah.
We want you to make a catch. I would love for preseason week 2 to feature a little more Luke Schoonmaker if he's healthy. I don't know that for sure if he's 100% or not, but I don't think you're running him out there if he's not. So
yeah, no, yeah. I mean, going into what we want to see in week 2, Schoonmaker's definitely like he might be the top dude on my list on what I want to see more of because I'm kind of watching him to see is he going to be like I hope not, but is he going to kind of be like the Tolbert of this draft that he's got the upside potential, but maybe just whether it's just he lost some time or he's still struggling with the injury, maybe it takes him a little longer. So I really want to see like just how he responds to the kind of the adversity he's faced in the past couple weeks and Jake Ferguson balling out and you're the second round pick and he's got a lot of hate already from a lot of people that didn't want to take him. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, well, it's my hot take opinion that he's now behind the next Dallas Cowboy Jason Witten as far as star power. I realize that Ferguson and Jason Witten are two totally different players, but I really think after what we saw after the sample size of Ferguson last year and what we saw Saturday out of him, just for half an effort, I really think Ferguson is a rising star. Jake, because I know you watch, I apologize for even starting to compare you to Dalton Schultz. So I really think he's a better tight end than Dalton Schultz all around. But so now Schoonmaker has that. He's a high draft pick. Not a lot of people are excited about it. I still am very high on him. I'd love to see 100% Schoonmaker. But anyway, I mean, just moving on from that, I think there's still a lot to be shown.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, before we continue into what we want to see, I wanted to talk about what I personally don't want to see. I know you guys talked about wanting to see more. I'm done with Tolbert. I'm done with Deuce. I'm done with and I know you guys were excited about seeing more. I'm done with Clark and Overshown. I'm like, put those dudes
I just
in
don't
New
think
York.
we have anybody else to go in for. I mean, what is it? Jabril. I guess we could put in Jabril Cox.
I want to see more of that. I don't want to risk anything with dudes like the guys I just
playing.
said.
Jabril Cox played.
Yeah, I just think. Yeah, I guess so. I was thinking that after Overshown, I forgot about Jabril Cox.
Yeah,
I guess that's
we
fine.
still have some quality talent that we could see and guys that need to get more reps. I think I don't want to risk anything with those guys. I think we've already seen we have something special with all those guys.
It's funny that we're saying no more Tolbert and no more Deuce. No more Deuce. Malik Davis, go ahead and play.
Yeah. I think
he
he didn't show us what we needed to see, and I need to see more of Malik.
Surely, even though, like I said, I have a theory, and it's nothing more than a theory, but I have a theory that, and maybe I'm dead wrong about this. Maybe all NFL coaches are like, hey, you get the privilege to be on the field, you give it everything you got every snap. But I have a theory that if at least the coaches or at least the player himself is like, you're getting 80% out of me today. It's the preseason. I got a long year ahead of me. My point is like Malik Davis is like, he's running back number 2 for this team. Like, if he had it dialed way down with a bad offensive line, okay, maybe we don't need to be running him out there, but we certainly know what Deuce Vaughn's capable of on an NFL football field. I don't care who he's playing against. It's clear that he needs to stay healthy, probably not take any unnecessary hits.
Yeah.
Being his size, because that is a factor. We're going to throw this guy out of the backfield too. So
yeah, I just think it's worth mentioning, saying that did Malik Davis do really good at sometimes during the season with how good our O-line is at run blocking?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's something to be said. Now, then
where
you
Deuce
look at Deuce.
He can't run block.
You look at Deuce. Well, no, I'm saying like our O-line run blocking. For our, and Malik Davis did really good at, when he played during the season. I feel like, how well is Deuce Vaughn going to do, when he's being able to run through, the crap that we put out on our line with the O-line that we start week 1 against the Giants.
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
when, let's say,
protect that.
Yeah, I guess I'm just thinking, like, I want to see it I want to see more of a sample size from all 3 of them and say, okay, that was one preseason game, and granted, Deuce didn't really show a lot of nerves, but in the next game, I kind of want to – in the next 2 games, I know, when Deuce got hit, he kind of flew, because he's so small, but it's just like I want to see a sample size of all 3 games and say, okay, if Deuce is clearly better by the end of the preseason, he's number 2. Mm-hmm. But it's hard for me to say, okay, he had a good game and the other 2 guys maybe didn't, even though I think Rico Dowdle had a decent game outside of the fumble. I want to tally them all up together and then say, okay, Deuce or Rico or Malik are the best, and then it's boom, 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 and then go from there. I don't think you can just be like, oh, he had a good game, don't want to see him anymore. I need to see some more of him.
Yeah, valid point. I mean, I think at least in his rookie season, there's going to be packages for Deuce. I don't think anybody intends for him to be. Again, I could be dead wrong. This is a theory of,
and I hope you are. I hope we use the crap out of him because he is good.
And I think we will. I think Mike's, I think in Mike's offense, he likes stuff like that. He likes those wrinkles and those those types of players. I think we're going to see him quite a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if this dude has throwing to him out of the backfield. I wouldn't be near surprised if this dude ended up the end of the year with like 70 catches.
Right.
But I just think there's going to be packages for him, and then I think there's going to be Malik Davis as a running back.
Yeah.
Now, again, I hope I'm wrong. I hope we see a ton of Deuce Vaughn. He stays healthy, and he turns out to be what everybody's hoping he can be. But again, Tolbert, I'm good.
Yeah,
you can play.
I'm kind of conservative when it comes to these types of things. So, I mean, you guys want to see more. I'm kind of like, I've seen enough. Like, I don't want to risk any injury or anything like that.
I think I'm more with you.
I'm like it. Don't give. We know Deuce is special now. We know Tolbert's special now. I don't want to give him any more film. I don't want to risk anything. Like,
I just remembered something.
I had to see Tony Romo break his back in preseason, right? So I'm always dial it back,
One person that I don't remember us talking about so far is Dennis Houston.
Dennis Houston, man, 3
There
catches.
was a drive where he was just like, "Yep, everybody get out of the way."
It really was.
Put whoever you want on me. I'm making a catch, 15, however many yards.
I'm not kidding, man. During that drive, I was like, Will Greer has to be a Pro Bowler. But he was hitting Dennis Houston.
Yeah, and that I'm glad Ethan brought that up because that was kind of something that was it goes along with something I wanted to see in game 2, which is this. We got Tolbert now at 4, but we might we're probably going to do 5, 6 receivers.
Yeah,
I think
this kind of offense you have to.
Yeah, Simi, even though he had kind of a tough camp, Simi kind of balled out a little bit at this game. Dennis Houston was he he was great.
He had a series where he was really good.
We heard a lot about Jalen Brooks during camp, but like we mentioned, he didn't have the greatest performance. So I'm really wanting to see in game 2. Also we can throw Turpin in there because I don't think Turpin really flashed at all. I want to see,
but he's got it in him.
Yeah, he's got it in him, and I know Mike McCarthy, it seems, wants to use him. So I want to see with those few guys, the Houstons, the Jalen Brooks, Semi, Turpin. I want to see.
And I'm making a whole bunch of mistakes over here.
Yeah.
But I'll say to Turpin, I mean, 2 targets, 1 reception, 15 yards. That's not bad. I mean, if you can use him more, like I know that they have him in mind for like packages and stuff, and maybe some specific types of plays. But I mean, this guy has real speed.
The drop he had. First of all, he should have caught. But it was thrown away from him. He had to catch up to it a little bit, but totally catchable for a guy with that kind of speed. But anyway, yeah, I agree with you.
Do you get?
Well, again, I want to see Semi. I want to see more Dennis Houston. I want to see more drives like that. I think Tolbert really only overshadowed Dennis Houston because he scored.
Yeah, Dennis Houston was balling.
If it came to Dennis Houston, it was a catch.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah.
Another one, I'm excited for this, or I'm really interested to see, when it comes to the bottom half of that tight end roster. I know we got a lot of dudes there. I mean, John Stevens Jr. absolutely took advantage of that game and balled out.
He did.
I want to see what that does. To me, it seems like it kind of shakes things up because obviously, I don't think obviously we got Ferg, but I don't think that's going to really do anything to Schoonmaker. I think we just spent a 2nd-round pick on that dude. At Hendershot, McKeon, is this guy going to work his way in above those dudes? I don't know. I mean, he at least he's going to make the coaches.
I do remember thinking to myself and seeing McKeon out there, just like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
bro?
I don't know, man. I think he did.
You're just
enough.
taking up space out there, to be honest.
I think he did enough to at least like raise some questions in that.
And you can see
room.
based on the stats of somebody like McKeon and that Barbin guy and like Jalen Brooks, like you get one shot. You get one shot and. Or for example, for Jalen Brooks' case, he got 5 opportunities to be like, okay, this guy can do something. McKeon, it says he got 1 target and he didn't catch it. Tyron Johnson, 1 target or 2 targets, 1 reception, 7 yards. Like I like for example, Schoonmaker, I don't think he got enough looks. Like they didn't put him in too much. It's probably because they're kind of being conservative with his injuries and stuff. But 1 reception, 1 target, 8 yards, that's not bad. If you give him 2 more receptions, that's a solid day for a preseason game. But yeah, McKeon, I mean, look, 5 for 7, 56 yards for John Stevens Jr. And McKeon is 0 for 1, no yards.
That's what
Dropped
I'm saying.
a pass on your 1 shot that you got.
Yeah, it's going to be a good battle. Like you said, I think.
And then apparently Hendershot is non-existent. So.
Yeah,
Surely he's gonna get some time in the upcoming game against Seattle. I mean, he wasn't allowed to play, so he's either got an injury we don't know about, or it's just like, hey man, you're up. You're up in week 2. So
all right, well, hey, I mean, let's move on. What are we? We kind of talked about it in the mix, but what are we excited to see for Game 2 versus Seattle?
Yeah, just the likes of Hendershot, the likes of some of these guys we feel like we didn't see enough of in week 1, the Malik Davises. I'm done with Deuce, but hey, if the coaches are ready to roll him out there, I'll take some more fireworks.
I'd like to see some more of Wanye Thomas, if that was a fluke or not, but also Dennis Houston. I mean, if you want to take over a game again and give us a good time when basically, everybody else is kind of like, oh, we got our good players, we got them held over here. If you want to join the mix, keep going. Lipke, dude, I want to see some more. I mean, I know he slipped or something during the game, but he had a bit of an explosive play the play before, especially for a fullback. I want to see some people like that, man. And definitely Schoonmaker for sure. I need to see some more Schoonmaker.
Yeah. Lepke, I want to see more of. I think he's got a unique skill set. I want to see, like, just give him some more opportunities. I don't think he got much, but Ethan kind of brought it up. I'm excited to see another battle. I know we talked about the receiver battle. We got the tight end one. Another battle I'm interested to look into a little bit more in game 2 is this bottom of the roster or bottom of the safety group. Wanye Thomas balled out. Marquise Bell did as well. You got Mukwamu. Like, I don't know how many guys we're going to keep in the safety group, but I think after this game, it just got a lot more interesting. I'm interested to see what they do there.
Also, if Mozzie, I don't know if they are planning on keeping Mozzie in the mix and stuff. I'm so interested to see if we get any footage or videos from camp of Mozzie against Zach and just letting them him pick off of Zach and, just iron sharpen iron type thing. I feel like that's going to play so many dividends into his game. Yeah,
I mean, it seems like McCarthy's regime is big on, those high draft pick rookies playing in the preseason.
Yeah.
I mean, Parsons played a ton in his rookie year preseason. So
yeah, and I think
we'll see more Mozzie.
Yeah, I think so, and I think for him it might be important because for him his problems have been like getting off the ball quick and he's just been getting tired. I think that at the beginning you could see there's a big difference between him at the beginning of the game and him at the end. He did play a lot of snaps, which I don't think he'll play in an actual game, but I think they might be trying to let's get you let's build up that stamina a little bit, and so I definitely think we'll probably see more him. I'm nervous. Obviously, I don't want anything to happen to him, but I think that it might do him some good to continue to get more reps. As good as he did play, I want to see more of him.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, looking into next week, team going up to Seattle for preseason week 2. We're looking forward to that. We can't wait to see that. We can't wait to see who plays, just like the rest of you. But I think as we wrap up here, I do want to remind you guys that our hot takes are coming at you every Friday. And we can't wait to break down that game and what we see from that. Don't forget that we are doing Instagram giveaways. We're doing Instagram giveaways like every week or every other week, something like that. Our marketing person handles that. So, but like right now, we're running a giveaway. All you have to do is go on our Instagram, see our post from episode 2, like, comment, and share on that post, and you have a chance to win preseason week 3 Raiders tickets.
Yeah, 2 tickets to that. And I've been seeing, I kind of run the majority of the Instagram stuff along with our marketing person, but yeah, a lot of people have actually been doing that, and we're for real about that. Like we're gonna pick a winner here by the end of the week, and we'll get you those tickets over to y'all. But don't forget to let us know under this video who you saw that was maybe we didn't talk about, or maybe you wanted us to talk about more. Leave a comment under the video on who you thought was really good or kind of played bad, or who you want to see more of in this next upcoming game. And yeah, I mean, we'd love to hear about it, and I'll comment back at you, and we can talk about that.
Yeah,
for
man.
Sure.
We want to mess around on socials and on YouTube, man. Let's have some conversations, man. We want to hear from y'all.
And I think it's so interesting. But just before we go, it just like we're in this preseason time. It's like I'm ecstatic about it, but I feel like it's kind of like I can't wait till we get to talk about. Did you see CeeDee Lamb's catch over so and so, or that throw from Dak, or that run from Pollard, or a sack from Micah, or whatever? It just the season is just coming up so close. I just can't wait.
2.5 short weeks. I think we're like 27 days from this recording. So anyway, yeah, we want to hear from y'all. Please be active on our socials. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. Obviously, this YouTube channel
And Spotify.
I listen to us on Spotify in the headphones. So, yeah, y'all get at us. We want to hear from y'all. Please find us on these socials. Find us on our YouTube channel and like, subscribe, and comment, please. Again, one more shout out to 360 Roofing and Restoration. Thank you so much for everything you do for us. find those guys too, man. If you're in any roofing issues, they service the entire North Texas area. Yeah.
That's
Until
it.
next
That's all we
time.
got.
Yeah.
See you guys next time.
See you later, culture.